Bells are ringing and the time is right to celebrate this Christmas. We're gonna have some fun. Merry Christmas to everyone. So everybody gather round and sing with me. Yeah, it's Christmas, joyful Christmas. Hang out Christmas lights. Let's celebrate tonight. Fairy lights, they shine so bright. We share this very special night. Close your eyes, make all your dreams come true. Oh, what a joyful Christmas. We're gonna have some fun. Merry Christmas to everyone. Now everybody gather round and sing with me. Well, it's Christmas, very joyful Christmas. Hang up Christmas lights. Ooh, let's celebrate tonight. If you feel alone, don't hide.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Viking Nation. I am your host, Larry Godwin. You can call me LG. And man, has been a big day around all over the world of Lowndes County. You guys are in a good and festive mood. I can tell. I've been fielding phone calls all day today. I'm glad my voice is starting to return to normal because I've been, my voice has been hoarse over the last couple of weeks. You guys know that. Because of a bout of bronchitis, I'm finally getting better. Cough is still lingering a little bit, but my voice is returning, and just in time to talk about the not bombshell, but this big announcement that happened in Lowndes County today. It was widely anticipated. Now, I gotta be honest with you. I was kind of surprised that it happened before the first of the year. I just thought that because we had we had two new Board of Education members rolling on to new terms at the start of the year and two rolling off, that they would have waited until the first of the year. But hey, that's okay. It's early Christmas present for Viking Nation. And that means that we have a brand new football coach and our program can move forward. So that's great news. So everybody can take a deep breath now. We know who it's going to be. We heard all the rumors, all the potential coaches. And believe me, we had some heavyweights that did apply, right? And we're fortunate enough that at the end of the day, we got a heavyweight in Adam Carter. The former head coach of the Grayson Rams is now the new and current coach of the mighty Lowndes Vikings. How does that sound? Just try that shirt on, right? Man, I'm super excited about this opportunity. I really am. I think we're headed in a right direction. Only time will tell, right? So before we get deep into the conversation about Coach Carter, because I'm assuming that is going to be the dominating topic tonight, and as well as it should be. But before we get into that, now that I've got your attention, I do have to remind you about my sponsors to make all this happen. You didn't think that I was going to leave my sponsors out, did you? No, they've been with me all year long. And so I got to thank these guys, our title sponsor, Pepsi Bottling Company, Doyer Deloach. Fantastic job. Doya, thank you, so much for sticking with me all year long. Guys, I had to have some of this stuff not too long ago, and it picked me right up. Whether your flavor of choice is Pepsi, Mountain Dew, Rockstar, Mountain Dew Energy, or my personal favorite, Mountain Dew Spark, get you some of that wherever you get some of that. Whether it's the Circle K, what am I doing promoting all these local stores? Hey, it's the Christmas season. Pick it up at the Circle K, your Walmart supermarket, Publix, Winn-Dixie, Piggly Wiggly, wherever you choose to shop. Just pick this stuff up because it's good. Now, we also want to thank our buddy Tim Neesmith, Shade of Perfection. He does a fantastic job with customizing your shades and blinds. If you have the need for that service, 229-251-3479. Call the ultimate buddy to our show, Tim Neesmith at A Shade of Perfection. He can hook you up. Guys, this particular pitch is to all the opponents of the mighty Lowndes Vikings out there, because I have this sinking suspicion that migraines are in your future because the Vikings are coming. Tell him, Chase Garnto. He's in the background shaking in agreement. The Vikings are coming, and we're ready to serve migraines to all you jokers out there. I'm just kidding. Really not, but I'm just kidding. The Migraine and Spine Clinic of Valdosta, Josh Batson and Justin Haskin, they are the certified headache medicine specialists providing a variety of migraine and back pain treatments. Also, this time of year, you guys need to get your financial house in order. And one way to do that is talk to my buddy Kyle Conger at White Oak Investment. He sponsors this program, also sponsors the White Oak Investment Hotline and the comment line as well. Thank you so much for your support, Kyle Conger, White Oak Investment. We thank Matthew Godwin at Verizon Wireless on Perimeter Road. Guys, you got a handful of days left for Christmas morning. If you haven't invested in that iPhone 14 yet, or your Android of choice, accessories, small business accounts, give Matthew a call before it's too late. Verizon Wireless on Perimeter Road, the store right in front of Walmart. We also want to thank our partner in crime, Steve Nichols, with Freedom with Steve Nichols. He is the morning political aficionado, if you will, around here. If you want to know what's going on in the world of politics and current events, give this guy a shot. Freedom with Steve Nichols can be seen on this Facebook page right there on your screen, or on his website, freedomnetworkswithinx.com. And finally, we thank our friends at Commercial Banking Company. These are your hometown bankers. You got a lot of financial institutions out there to choose from, but you know what? They're not your hometown bankers. These guys are. They can offer you very similar services, but they're right here in our community. Commercial Banking Company, CBC Bank, personal checking accounts, savings accounts, CDs, IRAs, auto loans, mortgage loans, and business loans. Give them a shout, 229-242-7600. So we thank all of our sponsors for sticking with us throughout the year. Chris Wills, right off the bat, he says, what do you think about him as the top Viking? LG. I'm assuming that you're talking about the man of the hour, and that is Adam Carter from the Grayson Rams. So let me welcome in our super fan, Chase Garnto, to help me answer this question. Chase, how you doing, buddy? I can't hear you, man. You got your mute button on.
I am phenomenal. Sorry.
Man,
What a day.
You got your hat turned around backwards. You got your lounge shirt on. You ready to go to war?
Absolutely. Fire up the axes, let them fly. It's time to do the thing.
I hear you, man. I hear you. What excites you most about Adam Carter? When you got that announcement, you were there at the board office with me today. When you heard the announcement made, what was your first thought?
I thought it was a splash hire. I thought it was a big superstar hire. Everybody knows the name. Everybody knows the brand that is Grayson, and knows what he done up there, knows the type of athletes he coached up there. And, I think it's a big name to bring to Lowndes. I think it's a game changer for Lowndes. As far as even offensively, I think it's a game changer.
Yeah.
They run up north. They run a more modern spread, almost type attack. They like to throw it around a lot. I look for him to try to bring in a offensive-minded head coach or offensive-minded offense coordinator, that's more modern that'll modernize Lowndes football towards where we need to be.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Let's talk about his past. He is scheduled to call in to the show about 7:30 tonight. So we're going to hear from him direct and live on the broadcast. So guys, if you want to go ahead and start piling in your questions on the comment line, the White Oak Investment comment line, go ahead and put them in now. And listen, be good. Don't ask crazy questions, okay? Don't ask if he's going to blitz in certain situations. What he just got the job. He just got the job. So, but most questions are good to go. Get the green light, okay? As long as they're legit questions. Now, I don't want to hear any questions about, hey, ask him how did he lose to Lowndes when he was head coach at Grayson this year? No, I've heard that nonsense. And I'm going to address that because it's come up a handful of times, and I'm going to address that. And some of you guys, you may not like the way I address that, but I'm going to give you that answer in LG style. Okay. So let's talk about his past, Chase. I'm going to put up a slide on the screen. So here's the new Lowndes head coach, Adam Carter. Some of his coaching accomplishments, and they're big accomplishments. 2018, he was the 6A coach of the year. 2020 7A coach of the year. Now that was aided by a 2020 state title when he was the head coach at Grayson. Yep. Here are right below that, you see in a couple of different columns there. On the left are his assistant coaching credentials, right? When I say 16 years coach, that was his total experience, including head coaches. But for the most part, he was a grad assistant at West Georgia, had some college assistant coaching experience at South Carolina State and Reinhardt University, high school assistant coaching experience at Paulding County, Camden, and for our Wildcat buddies out there, he was an assistant coach at Valdosta as well in 2016. Helped Alan Rodemaker win a state championship. I think he was the defensive coordinator.
Yeah,
for so. Alan Rodemaker. Is that right? I think that's right. He was also an assistant at Marietta as well.
Yep.
So got a lot of experience there from very, very decorated programs. Now he learned a lot from Alan Rodemaker, and particularly Jeff Herron is one of his mentors. I don't know if you guys knew that. And can you name a better head coach out there to have as your mentor than Jeff Herron, especially on the defensive side of the ball? So bona fide credentials there, right? So on the right-hand side of the screen, he got his first head coaching job at Bradwell Institute. And Chase, I'll be honest with you, man, straight out of the chute, he didn't do too well. 4-6 1 year at Bradwell Institute, left that program, went back to becoming an assistant coach. I think he got hired by Valdosta, and then went back to the head coaching ranks and went to Creekview. Now, not many people know anything about Creekview. Do you know why? Because they're not a prominent program. No one ever hears about Creekview, right? Because they're a middle of the road program. If you take a look at the success they've had over the years, let me tell you how they were before Adam Carter got there. So Adam Carter got to Creekview in 2018, right? So the 5 years leading up to him, Terry Crowder was the head coach there. In 2013, they were 8-3. Then they were 6-5, 7-4, 4-6, 6-4. They made the playoffs 3 out of the last 5 years before Adam Carter got to Creekview. And you know how far Creekview made it into the playoffs? First round. Mm-hmm. Their entire history of Creekview High School, they've only gone to the first round and got bounced. With the exception of 2018, Adam Carter shows up on the scene, becomes the head coach. Remember the record. 4 previous years, 6-5, 7-4, 4-6, 6-4. 2018, he takes Creekview to 12-1. And remember all those first round exits from the playoffs? He takes them to the quarterfinals.
That's a heck of a turnaround.
That's a heck of a turn. And that's what earned him the 2018 6A Coach of the Year. That's pretty impressive start for any program.
Yeah, it is.
Then he found Grayson came a calling, right? So he joins the Grayson program in 2019. Oh, by the way, when that one and only year that he was with Creekview, that was the only time in their history that they won a region title. That's pretty dang impressive, and they haven't won it, and they haven't won it since he left. So Adam Carter started with took over the Grayson Rams, took over from Christian Honeycutt, which is a well-known commodity in Lowndes football because he was an assistant for Randy McPherson for a couple years down here, right? So Christian goes up to Grayson, takes over that program in 17 and 18. Carter takes over in 19. And since 2019, he's gone 45-9 as a head coach of the Grayson Rams. In 2019 quarterfinals, 2020 state championship, 2021 semifinals, and 22 quarterfinals. That's a heck of a run.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive.
So
Absolutely.
all you naysayers out there, now I would say that 90 to 95% of Viking Nation is excited, but there are some naysayers out there. Y'all need to take a look at this resume that's staring you right on the screen. It's a pretty dang impressive resume, right? And that's how he found himself in the hunt as a candidate for Lowndes High. Then he goes in and basically wows the committee with his plans of moving forward because they asked him some pretty in-depth questions. What are your plans? What are your plans for offense, defense, middle school? What are you going to do? What coaches are you going to bring in? What coaches you going to, man, the guy is very, very detailed oriented, tough. I think the way I describe him, and I'm trying not to overhype this guy, right? But the way that I would describe him is old world coach mentality meets modern day offense and defensive schemes. Do you think that's a fair description?
I can go along with that. I think that's fair.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Billy Pearson brings up a very good point. He never coached under Eric Taylor. Good point, Billy Pearson.
No, but I hear that him and Tim Riggins were really good friends.
Now, guys, if you're tuning in tonight and you don't know what Billy Pearson, that's a little fun that we had on the Viking Nation a few days ago when I basically took a fictitious character because everybody was kind of uptight about who's going to be the new coach, and they're kind of down in the doldrums about the way Lowndes ended their season. That I thought we just needed a little bit of lightening the mood with a little bit of humor. So I took a fictitious character in Eric Taylor, played by the actor Kyle Chandler, right? Basically put a Lowndes shirt on him, took his fictitious biography and announced that he was the new Lowndes head coach. And it went viral. It went wildfire, spread all over the place. Now, 99% of the fans loved it. They found humor in it. And there was a handful. Now, for the folks that didn't think that was funny, I'm sorry that you didn't find it funny. I just thought, well, you know. So anyway, that's what Billy is referring to. So anyway, this is his resume. I think it's a dang good resume. Now, I'm going to ask you a question, Chase, and this is a very good question by Travis Hart. With this coach, what are the expectations in year one? We've seen what he's been able to do in year one with Creekview. We saw what he was able to do with Grayson. Now, Grayson is a different animal because they're stacked with athletes. I don't know. It doesn't look that way with Creekview. So what should be the expectations? Knowing that we have in my opinion, a heavy hitter head coach, what should we expect? What do you expect, Chase?
I at least would expect a region championship at bare minimum.
First year.
Yep.
That's laying down some big bricks, man.
We know the guy can flat out coach.
Yep.
So set the bar a little high. Maybe he finishes second in the region.
Okay.
I can live with second in the region, but the goal should be a region championship.
All right. Fair enough. Now, let me stop you right there. The goal is always a region championship, but I'm asking you, what are your realistic expectations, though? Now, I'm going to remind you, before you throw out an answer out there, I'm going to remind you, we just came off a 5-6 season. Our offense needs probably to be retooled. I think that's a fair and reasonable statement. Our defense is on the upside. So we got a number of players that are returning. So we got a very, very good tradition here at Lowndes High School. So what are reasonable expectations?
One, you got to beat Valdosta.
Yeah.
Realistically, if you finish second in the region and you at least make a deep playoff run, I think the fan base can be happy with that. I don't expect him to come out and just blow the state away. Now, do we have the talent and the athletes to do it? Absolutely. But it's a matter of can we put it all together in 8 months?
Right.
So, that remains to be seen. It's a new program. I mean, it's a whole new entire scheme these kids have got to learn. There's going to be some bumps. There's going to be some hurdles, and depending on, if the best player's playing in every position, then I don't see why we can't make a deep playoff run and probably a semifinal appearance.
Here's my expectation, Travis. I think we need to I expect us to compete for the region title with no worse than a second seed. If you are a Lowndes Viking, you never, ever expect anything worse than a second seed. Never. You always expect to at least contend for the region title, knowing that there are going to be some years where we just don't have what it takes to win the title. But most years we should at least contend for the region title. I expect at least a home playoff game. I expect at least making it to the quarterfinals. Those are reasonable expectations for a Lowndes football program. I don't care what year the coach is in. That's my expectation.
That's fair enough.
Yep. And I don't think Adam Carter is going to back down from that. He speaks of high expectations. I mean, most type A personality, most coaches that are worth their salt are going to agree with that. They're not going to back down from expectations. So I as a fan base, as an administration, as a community, I think it's healthy that we hold our head coaches for any program, whether it's football, baseball, basketball. This is Lowndes freaking High School. We should always contend for championships, right? That's the way I see it. Now, there are going to be some people out there that say, listen, the days of Region 1 teams, the days of Lowndes teams competing for championships is over in the modern day recruiting era. I don't buy that. Is it more difficult? Yes. But is it impossible? No. We were just a handful of plays away in 2019 from beating Marietta for a state championship, and that was a loaded team. That was a super assembled team, that Marietta team with Reek Gilbert and Harrison Bailey, right?
Oh, yeah.
And so that's what I expect, Travis. Am I off base, or as a fan base? Do you guys expect that too? I would hope that you say yes. So anyway, what other questions do we have? There was another question. Hey, ask the coach: is he going to be actively involved in the middle school to actually build a program? Jason Castleberry, great question. We'll ask him that, man.
That's one I intend to ask, Jason. You know where my head's at on that, buddy.
Yeah, absolutely. Billy Pearson says, my expectation is for him to bring back the Plowboy jerseys. We need to ask him that. Not just specifically the Plowboy jerseys, but every new coach, when they come into a program, they usually like to do something to add a little bit of immediate splash. Right?
Bring back the silver helmets.
Some coaches bring back a new color scheme, like for the uniforms, like Jamie DeBose did.
Now those
Jamie DeBose brought like 1,000 color combinations. Zach Grage was a little bit different because he got hired so late. He didn't really have time to worry about that kind of stuff. So it's going to be interesting. So with Adam Carter, is he already thinking about that kind of stuff? What can he do as a head coach to inject some immediate energy in terms of, is there a potential new helmet in the future? That kind of stuff. So I'm anxious to see that, man. It's going to be fun to see.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So, Chase, did you see the helmet that I rolled out last week?
Yes. Yes.
What'd you think?
I like it.
It was
like
cool, wasn't it?
I can go with the and I'm gonna take a stab at Billy with this one. As us FSU fans, you know, we got uniforms with a little swag, unlike the Bulldogs up in Athens.
Oh my God!
You know, we have
man. I don't need you and
jerseys.
Billy to start going back on Georgia and Florida State football.
So I mean, I like the iced out look, as they call it. I like the all white with the white helmets and all that. I love it. I think it'd be great for Lowndes to have an alternate helmet that they could play a specialty game with once a year, or alternate the helmets between, you know, playoffs and regular season and regional, whatever, you know, just something to play with, something to get the players excited, because I mean, if players get excited about stuff like that, they rally around. I remember when Jamie DeBose debuted the smoke gray Jumpmans.
Yeah,
man, them players went nuts. They loved it. They thought
I hear you, man.
I mean, they thought they had won the lottery.
So, guys, if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm about to throw up on the screen something I was playing around with. I'm going to show this to Adam Carter. Maybe he'll like it. You never know, right? So, hold on one second while I do that. Chase, why don't you stall for us so I can go ahead? Oh, you're eating, man.
I was snacking.
That's funny stuff. So those are my expectations, guys. Am I way off base on that? I don't think so. I don't think so at all, man.
But I want to see player development also. I don't want to see us come out and start here and wind up here.
That's right.
I want to see player development. I want to see progression on the field. I want to see, as the season goes along, I want to see these kids get better and better and better.
That's right.
But I also want to see these kids buy in, and I want to see these kids be coached up and loved on and built up and not tore down.
Yeah. You ready to see this white helmet?
Oh, yeah.
Check this out. What do you guys think? Now, listen, this is nothing official. This is an LG creation with Photoshop, because I was bored one day and just started playing around with color schemes, that kind of stuff. But I'm going to present this to Adam Carter and the administration at Lowndes, because I love this look, man. It'd be a great. I don't know if we had the funds to do anything like that in year one anyway, but wrap. Hey, it's kind of cool looking. It's kind of cool, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
All right, so he should be calling in at any time now. So let me send him a message just to make sure that he didn't forget. All right, so let's see.
But I will say this for all the Lowndes fans that haven't got to meet him yet. He seemed like a very genuine guy. You could tell he was nervous. You could look at the picture on Facebook and tell he's a bundle of nerves. I mean, I would be too if I was taking over as the head Viking of not only of a big time high school program, but a big time high school program with a very avid fan base. Because I don't know much about Grayson and their fan base, but I don't think their fan base was probably near as rabid and as the Lowndes Viking fan base can be. It's a different animal down here. So, you know, I would be nervous.
Oh, there he is right there.
My whole life.
Hey, caller, welcome to the Viking Nation Live. What's on your mind?
Yeah, this is Coach Carter.
Coach Adam Carter, the man of the hour. Coach, welcome to the Viking Nation, man. We are all standing in ovation right now. Welcome aboard, man.
Well, I appreciate you guys having me right there. Sorry I threw it in on you a little bit. My bad. I didn't mean to do that, but I appreciate you guys having me on.
No problem at all. No problem at all.
Man,
hey, listen, I don't know how much
Thank
time
you,
you've
sir.
got, because I know your voice is probably, quivering by now, because everybody in the world is probably wanting a little bite of your time all day today. So we appreciate the time that you're going to give us tonight. We just got a handful of questions for you. So you game?
Hey, let's go.
All right. I love it,
I
man.
like
I
it.
love it.
I like it.
Let's go. Let's go. Hey, first of all, I've got on the screen, I know you're calling on the phone, so you can't see what's on our screen. I've got on the screen a picture of you and your family. Tell us a little bit about your family, because not only you are moving to our community, but your family is as well. So tell us a little bit about your family.
We're a package deal, man. You saw my wife, Molly. Molly is a two-time graduate of Valdosta State, spent 6 years down there. So she is pumped to get back around some people that she has grown up with essentially in college, and some of our closest friends. Little man is still Wes Carter. I won't tell you too much about the middle name, but I will say that it's not Valdosta, and it's a little bit on the western side of Georgia. That's where that came from. And that is our little man. That's a pride and joy. He had him a big time today. He is he's a social butterfly. He told me today that he wanted to go see the field, so we got him on the field, and he wanted to know when he got to see the Viking boys. So he is pumped and he is ready to go.
That's awesome, man. That's all. Listen, we're thrilled to have your entire family moving to what I consider God's country down here in the Lowndes community. So welcome aboard. Let me ask you this question. Let me ask you this question. I've been asked this several times today, and you've probably been asked this several times today as well, even leading up to the job offer. Listen, it's no secret that the Grayson Ram program is a very prominent program in the state of Georgia. You're blessed with a lot of super athletes up there. That Gwinnett County is just growing and growing. So you're not going to have a shortage of athletes up there. So you're in charge of a prominent program. You won a state championship in 2020. Why in the world do you want to leave the Grayson Rams to come to Lowndes?
Let's first off say this. Very blessed to have been a part of the Grayson family and that community, and that administration has been so good to me and my family. The people there have been so good. I owe them so much. But that was not the end job for me. Getting my family south, getting my family into a community and a place where we wanted to finish our career, and we wanted to raise our son, and we wanted to just so many more things that we have in our life. We knew that those things were going to take place in South Georgia. We talked about it all the time. And if you take the football out, I know everybody on here wants me to talk football, but for me, a lot of the decision making now comes down to the family and little man, and what me and the wife think was best for him. We thought it was the perfect time for us. We spent 4 really good years at Grayson, won a bunch of games, did it with really good kids. We did have a lot of athletes up there. We have a lot of kids that worked really hard to get opportunities at the next level. But it was time. I felt it. I've had those conversations with my wife. I had those conversations with our pastor. It was just time. And I think, the Lowndes job to me is just, it embodies everything that I've dreamed about as a high school football coach. You have community, you have passion toward an athletic program, you have passion toward a high school, you have involvement, you have investment, you have enough players down there to win championships. And at the end of the day, you've got a school system that is second to none. I remember being in South Georgia, my first time being able to go down, and I remember sitting in faculty meetings and our principal looking at our numbers as a school, test scores on the and all these things, and everything he did, he compared it to Lowndes. And so at that point in time, way back in 2010, I knew that this place was different, because when you've got other principals and superintendents comparing to another school district, there's a reason. And so just so much goes into it, man. that's not even football, but the football part for me, it don't get better than South Georgia football. Just the overall, you're going to have involvement, the community. You got people in the stand to invest in the kids. You have kids that play for each other. You have kids that play for that name on the front of their jersey that come up, as kindergartners wanting to be Lowndes Vikings, through middle school they're Vikings, and they get to the high school and they're Vikings. And that is something that I feel like high school football is all about. And to be able to be in this community to where I get to fulfill those dreams is just a blessing.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Coach, listen, I can't go a second more than to ask you this next question, because this is on the mind of 99.9% of our fan base. Do you plan to throw the football when you become the Lowndes coach?
Listen, we will have that new invention of the forward pass in our offense. How about that? No, listen, man, we're going to do. I did talk to some folks today, and I talked to when I was in there with the board members. I was asked about that question, and they asked, which offense you going to run? I said the one that scores points. And so I think that we're going to be multiple. I've got really good guys on the staff now. I got some good guys that I plan on bringing, and I think offensive football now is, yes, you have an identity. My identity has not changed. It's been the same. And what I wanted to do as a head coach since 2018, and that has not wavered. I want to be able to line up. I want to be able to run the football. I want to be able to get the athletes in space and let them go. I want to control the game. I want to have times where we go fast. And I know that vision and what it's supposed to look like. And then at the end of the day, offensively, I feel like you've got to have enough flexibility to play to your player's strengths. If you don't, and you just continue to say, hey, this is my system, this is what we got to do, and that's not the strengths of your football team, that's where you have some issues. And so we will throw the football forward. There may be some that are quick. There may be some shots. There may be all that stuff. But we're going to get our kids the football in space, let them go make plays. Players win games, man. We make it complicated sometimes as coaches. Just get the ball to your best players, let them do the rest, and most of the time you look pretty smart. Listen,
that was like music to everybody's ears. You should see the comments. Like someone said, good answer, coach. Great answer. So listen, I'm going to ask you a different type of question that you've probably been asked today. I'm going to take you back to 2013 to your first head coaching stint at Bradwell Institute. And I'm asking this question because I found this podcast called Parker Resources Podcast. You're probably very familiar with that by now.
Oh, man, Coach Parker does a great job.
Absolutely. So I found this podcast, this episode that you were on back in, I can't remember, 2021. I can't remember exactly what year, if you want to, but I listened to that entire episode. And man, I found myself just writing notes. One thing, Coach Carter, that really stood out to me was you talked about that year, your first head coaching experience, and quite frankly, you acknowledged that it wasn't your best moment in your coaching career. You went 4-6 that year, but you said, I quote, "I fell flat on my face," and I thought it shook me because I thought, here is a coach that is showing so much humility, and which is very rare in the world nowadays. But then you went on to say that you're not the same coach today that you were back then. What did you learn from that early experience as a head coach at Bradwell?
I was 28. I came out. Coach Heron was leaving to go to Prince, and I said, well, I came here to work for him, and he's leaving, so now let me go take a shot. And so, I learned so much. I was on my own. I took really two guys with me from Camden to Bradwell, and that was all I could do. And they had some really good people on there, but there's a lot of community coaches and all those stuff. And so, and I say that to say there's nothing about the coaches. I say that to say one of the main things that I learned at a relatively early age at 28 as being a head coach was, you're not doing this by yourself. Yes, that's my name on the program. That's my face. I'm the one that you want to talk to. But the people that you put around you and the quality of men and how many coaches you have and their investment into the program and the kids, That's what's going to make the difference in the program. And that took me some time to learn. At 28, I thought I was guns blazing. I knew it all. Here we go. And I quickly learned that that wasn't the case. And, I think that I try, the game of football is a very humbling sport. You can be on cloud nine one week and then knocked off your feet the next week. Had that happen to us this year, honestly. Beat Camden in the second round. Felt really good about the direction of our football team, and then losing the third round to Milton. And so, very humbling experience for me at Bradwell. Our kids worked really hard. I was able to implement some stuff that I felt like was really good. And then I was able to look back and reflect and say, hey, there's some stuff, dude, that you did that was not very good. And that's kind of where I go with, you leave Camden, you leave a program that had won, and that's just you expel. Like, all right, well, this is what's going to happen when I go somewhere else. Well, no, it's not. And you put your name on it at that point. And so I own it. We were 4-6. We were 1 point away from being 5-5 and making the playoffs for the first time in 5 years, or I think 4 years at that point in time. They had won like 3 or 4 games in the last 3 years before we got there. So we did some positive things, but I learned more about myself as a coach and probably as a man during that time when I was having so much, let's just say, was having so many challenges, I guess you would say, as a coach and then who I am. And it just helped me find myself. And it helped me figure some stuff out. And I've said this on the podcast, so it's public to everybody. I stumbled for a little bit. I tried to find myself in this profession. I tried to figure out which direction my career was going after that. And I kind of didn't know what I was going to do. And then I was fortunate enough to land a job in South Georgia as a defensive coordinator that kind of helped my career to get back on track and all those things. But listen, if you're not humble in this sport, you're about a day away. And because something's going to happen and you're going to realize that you don't have all the answers and somebody's working just as hard as you. And so you put your boots on and you go right back to work and you try to fix problems and try to do the best job you can.
Yeah. And, during that podcast, you said that one of the things that you basically did, and this is me paraphrasing, but you basically level set with yourself. And you said you basically went back to basics, fundamentals, working your tail off, that kind of stuff. So now you fast forward to you're taking over a storied program in the Lowndes Vikings. When do you plan to meet with your players?
As soon as I can. I asked about it today. I wanted to get over there and just get in front of them and introduce myself. And my goal is to as quickly as possible. So I do think that Dr. Harrelson and Ms. McCall and Coach Redshaw have some answers for that as far as doing some stuff before the 6th. But I do know that the first day of class is the 6th. I do know they're in first block, and so I'm going to be the first one they see when they walk in the door on that January the 6th. Hopefully I'm able to get in front of them in an open setting to visit with families and parents and all those things before the 6th is my goal. But as quickly as I can, I made the comment that the biggest thing that I have to do coming into this program is to get in front of those kids and to establish a trust that they have within me in a very quick period of time. And I need to do that. I need to do it as fast as I can. So if you call for all player meeting tomorrow, I'll drive back down there and I'll be there.
Gotcha.
I love it.
Well, Coach, I've got my counterpart, Chase Garnto, fellow Lowndes super fan, with me on the screen. He's got a question for you.
Hey, Coach, just a quick question.
Yes,
What's your take on the middle school football? How vested are you going to be in getting our middle school programs back to being feeder programs for the high school?
Yeah, for sure. So this has been a big topic. I kind of give you a little bit of information about that. I'm so excited about having the opportunity to be involved in those programs. And Gwinnett, for the last 4 years, it has been one of those deals to where we don't really have much involvement. It's all done through the feeder programs. Those kids that play at the feeder program for School A, well, they might not be zoned for School A. They could be zoned anywhere in Gwinnett County. You don't have to it's just open for rec ball. And so I may not know exactly who my rising ninth grade team is until middle into summer, which is no way to successfully build a program year in and year out when you don't know, and so I'm just excited about the fact that there are 3 middle schools. I would love to go in and to be able to establish some differences and maybe what they've done in the last couple of years, and just try to put my spin on things and do that with the with the backing of the people at the board office and all those things, of getting it to a point to where I know right now they've consolidated some 8th grade team stuff and some 7th grade, and it's kind of this, and they got a bust here and bust there. So ideally, man, I just feel like the investment in middle school football, and to keep those numbers out, you've got to do things a little different. And you can't put stuff into stone right now. I'm not going to back myself in the corner, so I kind of leave it a little bit open. But understand that those are topics that have already been open conversation, that have been talked about, and there is a plan going to get implemented in place to give those kids at all 3 middle schools, whatever grade they're in, an opportunity to play football for the Vikings. And we're going to get that done.
Coach, I got a question that came in from a player's parent, and this is a great question. It really is. And it kind of dovetails into something I've been meaning to ask you anyway. One of the things that I hear in your voice, and I heard not just now, but in the podcast that I've listened to so far, you really put an emphasis on working your tail off, hardcore discipline, that kind of stuff. But you're walking into a situation where Lowndes has had its first losing season since 1994, I believe. So the question from the player's parent is, how do you convey to the players that you're inheriting and really jack up their confidence again? Because I would imagine their confidence is probably shaken a little bit, especially after losing their coach out of the first losing season since 94. How do you go about doing that?
It's got to be within those 4 walls. You know what I mean? Like the trust and the belief in what we're doing within those 4 walls. And I tell guys all the time, you got to tune out the noise. There's going to be critics everywhere you go, and there's going to be this and that. But you are spot on with the conversation that I had with one of my guys up here on my way home today. Down there right now, the expectation year in and year out is going to be to play at Mercedes Benz, Georgia State, Georgia Dome. Who cares? It don't matter. That's the expectation, right? No matter where you play it at. And in order to do that, you've got to have confidence in what we're doing. And so those kids have had a rough time at it. Again, I made the statement today that they've had, that senior class that just left that had a hard time with coaching changes and all those things. Well, I experienced that when I got to Grayson. I've been through that. And so this is not the first rodeo for me when it comes to that side of things. And that's kind of why I told you earlier that the trust thing is so big.
Yeah.
Until, you got to establish that trust, and you got to establish those relationships in what we're doing and in myself and what I'm going to bring to them every day. I don't have to, I've got to prove to them who I am long before, the opposite.
Amen,
they've
Coach.
got to trust in the fact that I'm doing the right thing by them day in and day out in order for those things to happen. And so, I think the way you approach it, the way you approach the kids and the coaches in the building, and the way we go to work, and the way we lift, and the way we run, and all those things, and the motivation behind it. Now, there's going to be tough love sometimes. Don't get me wrong. Now, that's who I am. But there's also an understanding that, kids need to be loved on in general, in different ways. And I'm going to bring that. And my coaches are going to do the same. And, the game of football is a lot about confidence. And they got to know that Lowndes high school football was built over a long span. And there's been a dip before. You can go back and look. There's been a dip before.
Yep.
And they always came out of it because of the kids, because of their will, because of the nature of who they are, who that community is. And they're going to fight. I know they're going to fight. And I'm just ready to go watch them work, man. I'll be honest with you. I'm pumped about just going in and saying, hey, let's go, man, and I'm gonna blow that whistle, and I just know they're gonna go to work.
Coach, you got me fired up, man. You might have to do me a favor during this offseason and petition the GHSA to extend the age eligibility requirements, because I'm sure at 52 I can help you on your team. Just suit me up, Coach. I'm ready to go.
Yeah, you may have been a half a health credit short, so we may have to come back and get that for you.
Hey, I'm not quite as old as LG. I might be able to sign up though.
Listen, we got a few minutes left with you,
All
Coach.
are welcome right now. All are welcome.
I want to ask you about your defensive philosophy, because I discovered another podcast. Apparently, you love the world of podcasting because you have your own podcast called, what's it called? Compete with the Stack.
That's right. Yeah, we so over the COVID, I was sitting here. I'm a football coach now, and so when they shut us down up here, they shut us down March the 9th. If I'm not mistaken, March 11th, one of the two. And literally, everything shut down. And so I'm sitting here twiddling my thumbs, and I think my wife was getting tired of me and wanted me to go find something to entertain myself, right? And so I went and got a whiteboard from the school, got some markers, and I started going out in the garage, and I told one of our coaches, I said, hey, I'm going to go live on one of our social media accounts, and I'm just going to talk ball for a little bit. And I started doing that, and people, kept asking me, hey, Coach, blah, blah, that was great. Can you do this? Can you do that? And I was never a podcast guy. I never listened to a podcast before, but I just felt like coaches wanted to talk ball. So I took a platform and information that I was interested in, and man, has it been awesome. I've got, I think, 40 something episodes up with people from across the country. I've got episodes where I've been on stuff with coaching staffs in Germany, coaching staffs in Brazil. It's been such a cool experience for me. Like it has nothing to do with me, man. Like I'm just a facilitator. I just go on and ask questions and let people that really know football talk. And it's been so cool. I can go on there and show you right now. It's like 43 different countries or something like that that's listening to that podcast.
That's awesome, man.
And
That's awesome.
So, I mean, it's just something for people to go on and listen. I mean, but there's been high school coaches that now I have connections with that, like, I never would have known before COVID. They say you try to find a bright spot, right? But I would have never known them. Now I got coaches in Iowa that run a 3-3 that text me every week. I can call up. There's a coach in Florida right now that is a guru. I can call him up with questions. Steve Speck out of St. X in Ohio. Call him up. I went to Vegas and talked at a Glazier clinic, and I'm sitting in the room, and a guy walks in, and he's like, hey, Coach, I'm Coach Milan. Well, he was on my podcast from California. Like stuff like that, man, in this profession, and it's just so cool to me.
That's awesome.
And it just broadened my network so much. And so, like, I don't make no money off of that stuff or nothing like that now. I ain't big time like some of them cats. But it is a cool little 45 minutes every couple of weeks right there that we put something out, and we try to make it beneficial for everybody.
So it's called Compete with the Stack, named after I'm assuming the 3-3 stack defense. So I'm assuming that's the defense you plan to bring to Lowndes. Is that correct?
Well, listen, it depends on who's listening to this. If the people on our schedule is listening to it, then no, we're going to do something different. But no, we'll base out of 3-3, man. I think that it's what I know, it's what I'm comfortable with, and I think that it gives you the best opportunity with kids that can run to get on the field, and you also have an opportunity out of it to morph into different things based on what the offense is giving you without having to do personnel changes. So, I think you're going to play your best 11 all the time. That's the goal, right? So this defense allows us to get in different looks, keep the same personnel package, and hopefully attack the offenses a little bit.
Now, the guy that you learned that defense from, I believe, is one of your mentors is Jeff Herron. Is that right?
Oh yeah, that's my guy. He texted me and said congratulations a minute ago. I learned the base 3-3 stuff from them. Our stuff is a lot different now than what we did at Camden back in 2010. So he gave me a job there and allowed me to call the defense there. And at 26 years old, man. So very, very grateful for that opportunity and who he is as a person and all those things. I can't, I got to play him second round of playoffs. Now we're down there and get to play them, year in and year out. So that'll be fun. Yeah, we learned it there. I had actually played in it in college with Charles Anthony. Charles Anthony's actually the defense coordinator at Perry High School now. And now, we've kind of morphed it to our own little deal now that I don't even think the terminology is the same anymore on just about anything. But that was where the base came from.
Gotcha.
Hey, Coach, I got a quick question.
Listen, Chase, before you get to the question, I want to remind Coach Carter that it's a coach. I'm telling you, man, it's okay to be friendly with Jeff Herron 9 out of 10 weeks during the regular season, but you got to beat his brains out one game.
Yeah, well, listen, those guys over there are great coaches, and they're, you're going to have to bring your best now. And we were able to make something happen early on over at our place in the second round and kind of hit some plays on them and all those things. And our kids played great. So it'll be a battle now. He gets his kids ready, and I'm going to have my kids ready, and then we'll go out there and battle it out. That's
cool. That's cool to hear. Chase, what you got?
Hey, Coach. I've heard head coaches in the past from various different programs, they come in and they always have this mentality that every position is open and up for grabs. That, starters may not always be starters when the new head coach comes in. Is that your mentality as well?
I mean, I think that one of the things that have made us successful up here is, and I say that because I just pulled back in my house up here at Grayson, sorry, but is the competition. And so you don't get better if there's no competition.
Right.
If there's nobody behind you that you think is going to take your spot, or the coach will bench you because somebody else is ready, then you don't really have a ton of room for growth at that point in time. You start getting complacent. And I'm not into that. You can ask folks up here, there's been plenty of times where there's been starters benched for doing something they're not supposed to, and it's the next man up. It's just the belief in the way we practice and the way we prepare that, hey, listen, you're not getting your job done, somebody else is going to get a shot to do it. And so, no, I haven't got to meet any of them. I've watched film and those kind of things, but other than a jersey number, I don't know anybody. And I think that's a unique experience when you get to bring in some new coaches and those kind of things. You don't have preconceived thoughts on this kid or this kid or this kid. You just go to work and see who shakes out. And everybody, if you're going to play for us, we're going to put the best 11 on the field. That best 11 may change on Friday. Week to week, it may change because, if a kid doesn't do right in school, he doesn't do right in class, he doesn't show up like he's supposed to, he doesn't do this, well, somebody else is going to play. And so, it's open competition every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday is open. And if you want a spot, you go earn a spot. I don't give you anything. I can put my hand on it when I say that. Now it's a competition all the time. And if you're out there playing for us, that means you're one of the best 11 that we thought as a coaching staff gave us the best chance to win. And
absolutely.
So we'll open that thing up, man. We'll open it up.
As the coaching adage goes,
you're going to hear this word my entire life. Oh, sorry. My pressure burst pipes. I'm with you.
Now, what did you say?
I was just saying our word is compete.
Compete.
My whole philosophy behind everything, and every time you talk to me and every time we break it down, we're going to say that. And if you don't want to compete, then you can't play for us.
Wow.
So that'll be something that our kids will know very quickly. And they'll embrace that. They'll embrace that because they'll know if they're not working, somebody else is, and they'll embrace it, and they'll go out and work and they'll compete. I know that'll happen.
Coach, we want to be respectful of your time. I know it's been a long travel day from you. You said you just drove up to your house. 2 short questions to end this interview with you is this question's for Billy Pearson. Do you plan to throw to the tight end? I'm sorry, that's an ongoing joke that we have around here.
Well, tell them I love some tight ends. We played with 2 or 3 of them at times up here this year, so we love the tight end. We had a couple of them this year, but one of my favorite kids in the program, 2 of my favorite kids in the program played that position up here this year, and they're gonna get a chance. Well, if they can catch the ball, you know what I mean. Some of them are just some of them guys struggle catching the ball, and we got to go to work. But even my tight end this year that was a senior that had worked his tail off all the way through school and finally got a chance to play the senior, caught him a touchdown pass and all those things in the playoffs. So, yeah, love a good tight end.
Fantastic. Last question I've got for you is, and I'm going to just open the floor for you. Take as long as you want or as short as you want. Listen, you've got the Viking Nation fan base watching or listening to you tonight. So is there anything that you want to say as parting words? I shouldn't really characterize as parting words because you're just starting with our program. But what do you want to say to the fan base to rally behind you, support your program? I just want to give you a chance to say whatever you want to say to the Lowndes fan base.
I'm just I'm happy to be a part of your community. I'm going to go in and give you everything I got. I'm going to put good people around our kids. I'm going to put good people in that school, and we're going to go to work. And I say that a lot, and I know that, but I'm a blue collar dude that don't know any other way to handle things, and we'll put a product out there that you'll be proud of on and off the field, and just give us some time to get this thing rolling. Keep showing up, keep supporting, keep being those people in the stands that I've envied as an outsider for years, and just keep supporting and do what you do. And like I said, we'll go to work for you guys, and we'll give you something to be proud of.
Fantastic. Coach Adam Carter, that's the brand new minted head coach of the Lowndes Vikings. Once again, Coach, welcome to the Lowndes community, the Viking Nation. Merry Christmas. We can't wait to see you at the first of the year.
Absolutely.
Thank you guys for having me, and I greatly appreciate it.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks
Let's
for
talk
being with
again.
us, Coach.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Man, what a great interview. I mean, that was fun.
I'm telling you, I genuinely think here's what I like about him, Larry. He comes across as a genuine guy, a blue collar, down to earth, everyday guy that me and you would talk to, at a football game on Friday night.
That's right.
And that's the way he comes across. And to me, that says a lot about who he is. That says a lot about his background. Is normal blue collar guys, they have a work ethic that's honestly second to none.
Yeah.
So, and I love his philosophy of competition. Players competing against players week in and week out. I mean, you're going to have to fight, claw, and dig. In other words, what he's telling you, Viking players, and I know y'all are out there watching because y'all tell me y'all watch. You better get your work shoes on. You better bring your work gloves. As a former Lowndes coach used to say, you better put your work boots on.
Yeah.
Because it's time to go to work, Vikings. It's time to go to work. You just heard your new head coach. You just heard your new head Viking tell you it's time to go to work. So,
yeah, listen, I did not want to ask him the typical questions. And we did ask him some of those things that you would expect to ask a brand new head coach. What's your offense? What's your defense? But I wanted to do it in a little bit different way to give him the opportunity to go into as much detail as he wanted to. And man, did he go into some detail. I loved it. I loved it. He revealed a lot about himself. And I love the part where he was able to humble himself. I mean, he said it. Football will humble you as a fan, as a player, and certainly as a coach. And he learned that the hard way. His first head coaching stint. Chase, I would encourage all the fans out there that you should go and listen to some of the podcasts that he's been on, especially that Parker Resources podcast, where he just flat out said he fell flat on his face after that experience. Didn't get along with the administration, didn't really know what he was doing, fell on his face, thought about leaving football. And really, he talked to a mentor friend of his and told him to keep going, just keep pressing on. And it's a good thing that he did because look at the career that he's had. And now he's the head coach of the Lowndes Vikings. And guys, listen, I know that you guys had a lot more questions. We just didn't have enough time. We had him on the phone for 30 minutes, and it's been a long day for him. So there's going to be plenty of time heading into the future to get him back on the show, ask him more questions, that kind of stuff. Listen, a lot of exciting times ahead for Lowndes football. And I know as a fan base, you're still skeptical because I'm there too. But I like what I hear. and I'm willing to give them a shot. And I would just encourage all of Viking Nation, give them a shot. Even if you're skeptical, give them a shot. That's all you can ask. If you go into a brand new job, whether it's in the corporate world or a brand new school teacher, a different environment, and you're not used to their way, just give them a shot. That's all you can ask. And if he doesn't live up to our expectations, then he doesn't. But until then, let's rally behind this guy and give him our full, undivided attention, resources, support, and let's move forward as a one Lowndes family together.
Larry, I want to point something else out that I
Yeah,
don't think that I think you and I both missed, as well as probably the rest of the fan base missed. Did you notice that he didn't sell you on how many championships he was going to win or the fact that he was going to win championships? No, what he told you and what he told all of us was that we would have a product on the field that we could be proud of.
Yeah,
That says a lot about who he is.
absolutely.
He's not trying to sell you. He's not trying to sell you anything. He's not trying to sell the Lowndes community anything. He's telling you he's willing to work to earn your respect, and he's going to give you something you can be proud of.
Absolutely. Speaking of something that we can be proud of, I hope you as a one Lowndes family, the Viking Nation, are proud of the product that we put on air every single week in the Viking Nation Live. So guys, stick with us. At the end of the year, we're probably going to take a few weeks off just to recharge our batteries. We'll come back after a few weeks and go full speed ahead. So stick with us. If you're not into the habit of doing this yet, while you're tuning in to us every week, share this program on your social media feed so other people can join us in, or at least join in on the fun and take part in what we're doing here as well. So anyway, Chase, I'll give you the final word, dude.
Hey guys, you got to buy into what this coach is all about. You really do. I mean, honestly, I think he's a great hire. I think we as a Viking Nation, as a Viking community, need to 100% pour in and support this guy and his family, because unlike a lot of the coaches that you find out there in this world today, his mentality reminds me, and the reason why he made this decision reminds me a lot of the legendary coach at FSU, Bobby Bowden.
Yeah.
He's all about family first. As long as you put in faith and family first, the rest of it will take care of itself. So for that, I'm willing to give him 150% buy-in and get behind him. And I hope y'all join me and Larry in getting behind him.
Man, listen, guys, we're about to end the show. It's going to be cold this week. It's already snowing on our screen. It's so cold outside, right? No, with all kidding aside, y'all be careful out there because it's going to be frigid down here in the deep south for the next several days. With that said, guys, this especially for my buddy Jason Anderson that's watching tonight. Jason, if you're listening, lean in. I'm sorry, that's an inside joke between
Come in a little closer.
Lean in close, man. We're gonna have a good time going into this new year. Y'all stick with us, spread the word, and as always, Merry Christmas and go Vikings. We're out.